sir.
Okay, thank you, Jason. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Let's start with the roll call, please.
Council President Corman.
Here.
Councilmember Prince. Councilmember McIrvin.
Here.
Councilmember O'Halloran.
Here.
Councilmember Benedetti.
Here.
Councilmember Van.
Here.
Councilmember Perez.
Here.
Roll call, Mr. Mayor, one absent.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Council President Corman.
I move that Councilmember Prince be excused. Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Council President Corman, seconded by Councilmember McIrvin, that the absent council member be excused. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay, he is excused. Okay, first up, we have a couple of proclamations tonight, and the first one is Sexual Assault Awareness Month.
Okay, proclamation, Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Whereas in Washington State, 45% of women and 22% of men report having experienced sexual violence in their lifetime. And whereas in King County, 7,152 adults and children receive special assistance from organizations with programming for sexual assault victims in 2020. And whereas rape is among the most underreported crimes for reasons that include victims' fear of being disbelieved or further traumatized within systems designed to support them, and additional barriers such as language, immigration status, gender bias, and systemic racism further oppress and silence victims. And whereas impacts of sexual violence are rooted in and compounded because Black, Indigenous, and other people of color, people living in poverty, LGBTQ people, elders, people with disabilities, and other people are targeted by oppression and affected by sexual violence in significant and complex ways. And whereas statewide, 29% of the survivors who were supported by a community sexual assault organization identified as Black, Indigenous, and people of color in 2019. And of those identifying ethnicity, 21% identified as Latino Hispanic. And whereas King County is home to many organizations that provide culturally and linguistically specific services which are critical in effectively responding to specific needs and barriers faced by survivors from various racial, ethnic, faith, and cultural communities, survivors who are immigrants and refugees, survivors who are LGBTQ, and survivors with disabilities. And whereas negative impacts of sexual violence, trauma on women, men, children, and youth include fear, concern for safety, symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder, injury, and missed work or school. And whereas working together as a community, we can alleviate the trauma of sexual violence by ensuring supportive resources are available to all survivors while standing up to harmful attitudes and behaviors that contribute to sexual assault. Now therefore, I, Armando Pavoni, Mayor of the City of Renton, do hereby proclaim April 2021 to be Sexual Assault Awareness Month in the City of Renton, and I encourage all residents to join advocates and communities throughout King County in taking action to prevent sexual violence by standing with survivors. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Renton to be affixed this 5th day of April, 2021, signed Armando Pavoni, Mayor of the City of Renton.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Council President Corman.
I move that council concur in the proclamation. Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Council President Corman, seconded by Councilmember McIrvin, that the proclamation be adopted as read. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay, motion carries. Okay, so tonight we have Aaron Esteban, the Dondo Bus Program Coordinator and Family Service Specialist at King County Sexual Assault Resource Center, federally known as KSAR. Hello, Aaron.
Hello, thank you for having me this evening. Thank you for the introduction. I'm Erin Esteban. I live here in Renton. And as you mentioned, my roles at the King County Sexual Assault Resource Center are coordinating our Down the Voz program that serves all of our Latinx community members and providing services to parents and caregivers of youth who've been sexually assaulted. And KSARC is a nonprofit that serves the city of Renton and all communities throughout King County. I'm here to accept the Sexual Assault Awareness Month proclamation. On behalf of our nonprofit, I want to thank you for being a part of the solution to ending sexual violence. This last year in 2020, KSARC served nearly 5,000 people, almost half of whom were children. Amid a pandemic, we continue to serve survivors and their families who are facing even more complex challenges. For example, families having the need to find a private space in their home to participate in telehealth therapy sessions, the need for ongoing safety planning with legal advocates as courts delay their cases, and increased need for emotional support, as well as economic assistance so they can remain engaged in their child's or their own therapy or legal case. In my work supporting families of youth survivors of sexual assault, especially this past year during the pandemic, I've seen a really big increase in depression symptoms among youth directly related to feeling isolated and disconnected from their friends, school, and pro-social activities like sports and school clubs. These kind of connections in the community are actually really key for these youth to developing the resilience that youth survivors need to heal and move forward with their lives. At KSARG, we're really grateful to be able to walk alongside victims as they find the strength and courage to disclose their abuse, whether it's something that happened recently or many years ago. We know that healing is possible and ending sexual violence is possible. Everyone in our community has a role to play in order to achieve these goals. Thank you so much for your leadership and willingness to be loud about sexual assault. We can only change what we are willing to talk about. By talking about sexual violence, we send an important message to survivors that you are not alone and your story matters. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Erin. Okay. Next up, we have a proclamation on Volunteer Month.
Okay, proclamation, Volunteer Month. Whereas volunteers are vital to our future as a caring and productive nation, and whereas volunteerism is part of our country's social fabric, particularly during times of crisis, and whereas volunteerism by its very nature can be a powerful way to build bridges between people and can be one small approach in a larger strategy toward achieving racial equity and social justice, and whereas volunteering expands people's connections, cultivates a positive self-image, improves physical well-being, combats social isolation, reduces stress, and teaches new skills. And whereas volunteers working in the Renton community make tangible differences every day in the lives of our children, adults, and seniors. And whereas the volunteers who give their time and talents to improve the quality of life for the citizens of Renton are a treasure and deserve special recognition. Now therefore, I, Armando Pavoni, Mayor of the City of Renton, do hereby proclaim April 2021 to be Volunteer Month in the City of Renton in honor of the hard work and dedication of the thousands of residents who selflessly donate their time and effort in the spirit of volunteerism. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Renton to be affixed this 5th day of April 2021, signed Armando Pavoni, Mayor of the City of Renton.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Councilmember McGurven.
I move that the proclamation be adopted as read.
second.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilmember McGurven, seconded by Council President Corman, that the proclamation be adopted as read. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay, motion carries. And tonight, to accept this proclamation, we have Renton's own Teresa Nishi. She's the Recreation Programs Coordinator. Hello, Teresa.
Hello, good evening. Thank you, Mayor Pavoni, Council President Corman, and City Council members for proclaiming April as Volunteer Month in Renton. This past year, there were not very many volunteers because of fewer city events and programs, but community members in Renton continue to make difference by helping others at food banks, homeless shelters, serving meals, and making sure our community members were getting their basic needs met. Volunteer opportunities did happen in 2020 once we added COVID-19 safety protocols and permissions. Boards and commission members continue to give their time by attending meetings via Zoom, just like this. Some individuals assisted with the Renton Farmers Market and the special events with the with the Renton Downtown Partnership, and others volunteered in parks doing beautification projects. We are looking forward to doing more with volunteers this year and being able to see the community come back, helping at special events, such as the upcoming Shred-a-thon by the police department, the Renton Downtown Partnership events, and of course, the Renton Farmers Market, to name a few. Thank you for all your support for the city's volunteer program and for all of our volunteers. Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa. Okay, next up we have administrative report.
Yes, good evening, everyone. April is National Distracted Driving Awareness Month. Throughout the month of April, the Renton Police Department will have special emphasis patrols designed to bring awareness to the dangers of distracted driving, educate the public, and enforce violation of the state's hands-free cell phone law. Distracted driving is one of the fastest growing safety issues on our roads today, so please drive responsibly. More information on the police department's efforts can be found on the Renton Police Facebook page. The lower walk of the Cedar River Trail through downtown Renton has reopened for the spring and summer seasons. For everyone's safety, please remember that this section of trail is a dismount zone for bicyclists, and follow directions on all posted signage. Contact Community Services at 425-430-6600 for more information. A new season of growing at Community Gardens in North Renton and at North Highlands Park starts on Friday, April 9th. All plots are reserved for the season. Gardeners are excited to grow their own food. Even while outdoors, gardeners will follow safety precautions to help prevent the spread of COVID-19 for everyone's good health. For more information, please see the Community Garden webpage at rentonwa.gov/garden or contact Community Services at 425-430-6600. Warm weather is here, and that means more to do at Renton's beautiful parks and trails. Please remember to follow these guidelines. Do not use the parks or trails if you are sick or not feeling well. Continue to follow CDC and public health guidelines. Picnic shelters at parks are still closed until larger gathering sizes are allowed. Dogs are not allowed at Jean Coulon or Kennydale Beach parks. Dogs are allowed on 6-foot leashes at all other city parks and trails. Bicycles are prohibited on pathways at Coulon Park. And Cedar River Dog Park is an off-leash park located along the Cedar River Trail. Visit the new playgrounds at Jean Coulon Memorial Beach Park and Sunset Neighborhood Park, or take a self-guided track trail hike at Cedar River Trail Park. Park information, park rules and regulations, and share the trail brochure can be viewed at rentonwa.gov/parks or call the Community Services Department at 425-430-6600. Information about preventative street maintenance, traffic impact projects, and road closures happening this week can be found at rentonwa.gov/traffic. All projects are weather permitting, and unless otherwise noted, streets will always remain open.
Okay, thank you. Next, we'll open up audience comment period. It remains the strong intent of the city to have public comment regularly included on our agendas. Each speaker will be given 5 minutes to speak. He will be called upon by city staff member. The staff member will call the speaker's name and unmute the appropriate microphone, which will send an automatic prompt to the speaker of "You have been unmuted." This is the speaker's cue that is their turn to speak. Please begin your comments by stating your name, city of residence, and the topic you are addressing. The speaker should be able to see a timer on the screen. Please finish your comments when you see the timer is close to expiring. And
Mr. Mayor, I have no one signed up in advance to speak this evening.
okay,
Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address council? If you would like to speak, please use your computer to raise your hand. If you've joined by calling into Zoom and would like to speak, you can raise your hand by pressing *9. And I see no hands, Mr. Mayor.
okay, thank you.
We had a,
Okay,
I'm sorry, we had a late hand raised.
Oh, we did, okay. We haven't moved on, we do have somebody, sure.
Sorry about that. Nancy Quinn. Nancy, go ahead.
You're still muted.
Nancy, are you there?
I'm trying to unmute.
Yeah, you're unmuted now.
Great. I thank you, Mayor and City Council. I deliberately did not sign up in advance because I've been somewhat distressed in the past weeks about the activists who have been attending the meeting, and I deliberately wanted to go last. And I just want to thank you, as usual, for your hard work and your commitment to our community. I think you're doing an amazing job, and I just can't say enough. And so it's just a thank you. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much for all your hard work.
Thank you. All right. Thank you very much, Nancy. Do we have anyone else signed up? Or anyone else with their hand raised at this time?
Nope, I see no one else.
Okay. All right, well then we are on to the consent agenda. We have 13 items for council consideration.
Yes, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Council President Corman.
Yeah, at this time, I'd like to ask if any council member would like any of the 13 items removed for individual consideration. Seeing none, I move approval of the consent agenda as published.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Council President Corman, seconded by Councilmember McGurven, that the council approve the consent agenda as published. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay, motion carries.
Mr. Mayor,
Next up. Yes.
is Councilmember Perez.
Oh, yes.
I just want to congratulate Ed Van Bailey for his appointment as a Chief Administrative Officer. After we interviewed many candidates last year, and I don't remember how many rounds were there, we couldn't come with nobody close to the expertise and knowledge that he has. And I appreciate his desire to further advance his career and keep preparing himself to excel in this position. He is a Rentonian. He was born, raised here. He went to school here. He has served the city for many years in different capacities. And I sat for a full day, 2 or 3 days, interviewing candidates from all over the nation. And we couldn't come with anybody that had closer the expertise that he has. So I just want to extend a congratulations for him and for the staff.
Thank you, Councilmember Perez. All right. Next up, we are on to unfinished business. Council President Corman.
And no unfinished business, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Councilmember McGurven.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, the Transportation Committee has one committee report to present.
Okay, Transportation Aviation Committee report, request for authorization of revision to the Renton Municipal Airport regulations and minimum standards. The Transportation Aviation Committee recommends concurrence in the staff recommendation to approve the update to Section 2411B of the airport regulations and minimum standards by replacing the requirement to meet criteria established by RCW 7.48 nuisances and RCW 1408-122 adoption of regulations by airport operators for airport rental and use and collection of charges to streamline the process of removing derelict aircraft, abandoned vehicles, and abandoned property off of the airport property through adherence to applicable RCWs and other applicable laws and regulations.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Councilmember McGurven.
yes, I move that the council concur with the Transportation Aviation Committee report.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilmember McGurven and I believe seconded by Councilmember Benedetti that the council concur with the Transportation Aviation Committee report. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Okay, motion carries. Thank you. Councilmember O'Halloran.
No unfinished business, Mr. Mayor.
Councilmember Benedetti.
No unfinished business, Mr. Mayor.
Councilmember Van.
No unfinished business, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, and Councilmember Perez.
No unfinished business, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, and next up we have legislation. We have one resolution and one ordinance for first reading.
Okay. This resolution is regarding a King County Conservation Futures Grant. Resolution of the City of Renton, Washington, authorizing the mayor and city clerk to enter into an interlocal agreement with King County entitled Interlocal Cooperation Agreement between King County and the City of Renton for Conservation Futures Funded Open Space Acquisition Project.
Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Mayor. Oh,
Okay, I believe it was Councilmember O'Halloran.
Yes, thank you. I move the resolution be adopted as read.
a second?
Okay, it's been moved by Councilmember O'Halloran, seconded by Council President Corman, that the resolution be adopted as read. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay, motion carries. Thank you.
Okay, the ordinance is for first reading only. It's regarding housekeeping move to move the city clerk division and emergency management under the executive department. An ordinance of the City of Renton, Washington, reorganizing Chapter 3-1 of the Renton Municipal Code by moving the city clerk's office to the executive department and adding the emergency services division to the executive department by moving subsection 345.c city clerk office to section 3-1-4 of the Renton Municipal Code, amending the language and renaming it city clerk division, adding a new section 3-1-8 Emergency Management Division to Chapter 3-1 of the Renton Municipal Code, and repealing subsection 345C of the Renton Municipal Code, providing for severability and establishing an effective date.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Council President Corman.
Yeah, I move the ordinance be placed on second and final reading at the next council meeting.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Council President Corman, seconded by Councilmember McGurven, that the ordinance be placed on second and final reading at the next council meeting. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Okay, motion carries. All right, next we're on to new business. Council President Corman.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I would like to announce a committee of the whole meeting for next Monday, April 12th at 6:00 p.m. That is, of course, a video conference. We have one item on the agenda for that meeting, a forestry program update. And that's all, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember McGurven.
No new business, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Councilmember O'Halloran.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. The Finance Committee will be meeting on Monday, April 12th at 3:30 p.m. via video conference, and please bear with me as I read 9 items. Bidlot Outdoor Exercise Equipment Activation Grant, King County Veterans Seniors Human Services Transform Senior Centers Grant, the Furnitubes International Limited Sole Source Vendor Resolution, 2020 Washington State Department of Health SNAP Incentive Agreement, Sunset Neighborhood Park Notice of Grant, Sunset Neighborhood Park Deed of Right, the Alford Group Contract, Signal Equipment and Traffic Calming System Devices for Safe Routes to Transit Program, and finally, vouchers. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Councilmember Van.
No new business, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. And Councilmember Perez.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On behalf of Councilmember Prince, I will announce that the Planning and Development Committee will meet via video conference on April 12, 2021 at 4:45 p.m. There are 4 items on the agenda: K4C Climate Action Tool Briefing, Docket 16 Update, SHB 1406 Funds, and Emerging Issues in CED. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. What's the wish of the council?
Mr. Mayor? Mr. Mayor,
Okay.
I do not have any new business either.
Oh, did I miss you? Oh, Councilmember Benedetti.
No new business, Mr. Mayor.
I checked your name before I asked you, so I apologize. Did I miss anybody else there? No, okay. Okay, what's the
Mr.
wish of
Mayor?
the council now? Yes, sir.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Council President Corman, second by Councilmember O'Halloran, that we adjourn. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay, thank you all. See you next week. Have a
Good
great
night.
week.
Bye.